The studio floor hummed like a beehive as the crew prepared for the live broadcast, but beneath the surface spark of morning show energy lay a tension that hadn't yet revealed itself. The View had hosted hundreds of guests, some chaotic, some charming, but Adam Sandler was considered one of the easy ones, funny, warm, never demanding. Producers had said it all week long, this will be simple. Adam's a sweetheart, but nothing felt simple this morning. The audience filed in, buzzing with anticipation. People waved cardboard signs, chattered excitedly about seeing Adam live, and snapped selfies as they found their seats. A dozen studio lights blazed overhead, making everything sharp, bright, and exposed. Behind the table, the co-hosts adjusted their notes, sipped from their oversized coffee mugs, and exchanged last-minute reminders from producers who darted around like frantic sparrows. But Joy Behar wasn't sipping anything. She was riffling through her stack of question cards so aggressively the corners began to curl. "Joy, you good?" one co-host asked gently. "I'm fine," she snapped without looking up. But she wasn't fine. Anyone paying attention could tell she had woken up in a confrontational mood, maybe because she hated the pre-written questions, maybe because the morning meeting had irritated her, or maybe because the safer, fluffier interviews always annoyed her the most. Joy liked friction, she liked directness, and she liked catching guests off guard to see what they would say without PR polish. Adam Sandler was probably not expecting that joy today. Music cued, cameras rolled, the hosts walked out smiling large television smiles. The applause washed over them, warm and grateful. Adam waited just off stage with a small grin on his face, hands tucked in his jacket pockets, rocking lightly on his heels like he always did when nervous or excited. When the host announced his name, he bounded out cheerfully, waving both hands high. The audience erupted. Adam dapped a couple of people in the front row, pointed jokingly at someone holding a sign that read, "Marry me Adam," and took his seat with an endearing sigh. "Thanks for having me, guys. I love this place," he said, and the crowd melted instantly. The first few minutes went exactly as expected. The hosts asked about his new movie, another friendly comedy with his usual cast of pals. He told a story about a prank on set that made the audience roar with laughter. He teased one of his co-stars for being the slowest eater on earth. His mannerisms were loose, comfortable. His legs swung a little under the table. His hands moved broadly when he talked. He was Adam Sandler, the guy who made even silence feel warm. But Joy Behar's smile was tight, plastic, shrinking with every wholesome answer he gave. Finally, she leaned in, locking onto him with a look that made the other host straighten. "So Adam," she said, her tone deceptively casual, "let's talk about your choice of roles." Adam's eyebrows lifted slightly, but he nodded. "Sure, what about him?" "Well," Joy continued, flipping over a card she didn't need, "don't you feel like you've been playing the same character for, I don't know, 30 years now?" The air shifted. It was subtle at first, like a breeze brushing a curtain, but it grew heavy fast. Adam chuckled, assuming she was joking. "Ah, you know me. I stick with what works." Joy didn't laugh. "Right, but isn't it a little stale? The goofy guy who never grows up. Isn't that getting old?" One host inhaled sharply, another glanced nervously at the producers off stage. A couple audience members exchanged wide-eyed looks. Adam attempted another laugh, but it faltered. "Well, I mix it up sometimes, you know, uncut gems, hustle. I try different things." "Sure," Joy said, shrugging, "but those are the exception. Mostly it's bathroom jokes and childish humor." The audience gasped. Adam froze. A producer mouthed an urgent "Joy, no" from behind a camera. Adam's face tightened, just barely. "Joy," he said with a half-smile that was trying to hold its shape, "I make movies for families. People like to laugh. I like giving them that." Joy pressed on, relentless. "But don't you think at some point a man your age should move past that? Try something with a little more artistic weight. A little more depth." Adam blinked. His eyes flicked downward for a second, not in defeat but in hurt. "Well, I think there's depth in making people smile," he said, softer. "There's already enough serious stuff in the world." Some audience members applauded supportively, but Joy didn't stall. "I'm just being honest," she said. "Your fans might be wondering the same thing, why you keep repeating yourself. Why you keep playing the same immature guy." Adam's shoulders lifted in a shallow breath. He looked at her more seriously now, the playful fog gone from his expression. "You know, Joy," he said slowly, "I came on here to talk about something I'm proud of. I didn't expect to Defend my existence. The crowd murmured in sympathy. One co-host hurriedly interjected. Adam's work brings joy to millions. But Joy cut her off with a raised hand. I'm talking about evolution. Artists evolve, shouldn't he? That's enough, another company host whispered under her breath, but her mic caught it. Adam leaned back, tapping one knee anxiously. His voice trembled with restraint. I'm doing just fine, Joy. People like what I do. And I like what I do. I'm not trying to win an Oscar every time, I'm trying to make people feel good. Joy gave a dismissive shrug. If you're okay with that ceiling, then fine. At that, Adam's face flashed real anger, quick, then hidden. He swallowed it with effort. Wow, he said quietly. That's really something. A thick silence settled over the studio, broken only by awkward laughter from someone in the audience who immediately regretted it. One co-host placed a comforting hand on Adam's arm. We love having you here, she said sincerely. Your work matters to people. Adam nodded, taking the gesture in gratefully. But he didn't look at Joy again. The rest of the interview limped forward, the energy drained, the laughter forced. Adam answered the remaining questions politely but without sparkle. Joy remained rigid, eyes hard, body language defensive but unyielding. The hallway behind the set of The View held a strange kind of stillness, one that arrives only after something uncomfortable has just happened in front of hundreds of people. Producers moved quickly but quietly, exchanging worried glances, whispering into headsets, trying to keep the situation from snowballing. But the tension was already too thick, impossible to contain. Adam Sandler walked off stage at a brisk pace, his signature slouch replaced by rigid posture. He didn't storm, storming wasn't his style. But there was no mistaking the stiffness in the way he handed his mic pack to a technician. His normally calm eyes were fired with confusion and a hint of disbelief, like he was replaying Joy Behar's words and still couldn't quite figure out how the interview had gone so wrong. A producer jogged up beside him. Adam, wait. Just want to say we're really sorry about what happened out there. Adam held up a hand. It's all right, he said, though his voice didn't have its usual warmth. I know you guys weren't behind it. We definitely weren't, the producer said quickly. She went completely off script. We tried to signal her to move on. I saw, Adam said quietly. He rubbed his face with both hands, still trying to shake off the sting. Just felt kinda kicked, man. Producers nearby winced at that word. Kicked, because yes, that was exactly what it looked like. Meanwhile, Joy Behar barreled backstage like a small, fiery meteor. She slapped her note cards onto the nearest counter with a crack that startled a costume assistant. Joy ripped out her earpiece and tossed it into a chair. I don't get why everyone's looking at me like that, she said loudly. You'd think I committed a crime. A stage manager approached gently, as if approaching a volatile animal. Joy, the interview was supposed to stay light. The network approved questions. Joy cut him off with a scoff. Oh please, the network wants everything sugar-coated. I'm not here to give celebrities bubble baths. I was asking real questions. Nobody's allowed to do that anymore. Another producer stepped in carefully. There's asking questions, Joy, and then there's ambushing. Joy bristled instantly. I didn't ambush him. He's a grown man. A little criticism won't kill him. Across the hall, Adam heard that final line as he was passing by. He slowed, paused, turned. A couple of staff members froze, sensing what was coming. Adam walked toward Joy with steady steps, not aggressive, but definitely not avoiding confrontation. Hey Joy, he said, calm but controlled. Can we talk for a second? Joy crossed her arms defensively. If you're here to tell me you're offended, join the club. Everyone gets offended by everything now. Adam shook his head slightly. No, I'm not offended, I'm just confused. I didn't expect that kind of personal stuff out there. Joy raised a brow. Critique isn't personal. It is when you make it about someone, my age, or accuse me of not growing as a person, Adam said. You weren't talking about my work. You were talking about me. Joy opened her mouth to respond, but Adam kept going. Look, I can take a joke. I can take criticism. I've been doing this for 30 years. But I come on this show to talk about my movie, to make your audience laugh, to have a nice morning, not to get grilled like I'm on trial. A hush fell over the surrounding crew. Even those pretending to be busy had stopped moving. Joy's response was sharper than before. Maybe that's the problem, Adam. Everyone expects a nice morning. Maybe we'd all have better interviews if people weren't so sensitive. Adam blinked at her, stunned. That's what you think this is? Sensitivity. Joy shrugged, unyielding. If the shoe fits. Adam let out a short, humorless laugh. You know, I came here because I like this show. Because I thought it would be fun. But I guess I was wrong. He turned away, walking toward the hallway that led to the exit. As he went, a few crew members patted his back sympathetically.